Evaluation question 1. In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? In this piece of evaluation, I'm going to discuss the ways in which my magazine follows, develops, and challenges the conventions of real magazines, billboards, and websites. My magazine is free and so doesn't need to sell itself like other magazines. However, my magazine has mostly followed the conventions of real magazines. For example, on my front cover I have included a main image and used mise-en-scene to create an ideal self, Carl Rogers, 1980, so that the model can be relatable to the niche audience. I have used a model representing a band member because of Richard Dyer's star persona, attracting my audience because of the model will represent a community that share a common ideology, Tim O'Sullivan. Furthermore, the main image is anchored by text that goes behind the model, so that the audience can easily interpret who the person on the front cover is and who the main cover line is talking about. Furthermore, I have included a masthead. I have, however, challenged the conventions of magazines because I have not placed it in the third left. This means that when the magazines are stacked, the masthead won't be as recognizable as it could be, but the audience that the magazine is focused on is niche, and so knowledge of the magazine's existence is passed around by word of mouth. I have also followed the conventions of magazines by using cover lines to entice my audience into picking up the magazine. I have also used a few of them as to not detract from the main image like other magazines. I have also used a dateline, much like other magazines, so that the audience may see when the magazine was published. When creating my contents page, I made it so that it both follows and challenges the codes and conventions of magazines. For example, I have followed the conventions of traditional magazines by including a main image relating to the main article of the magazine, which was also featured on the cover page. This image is the biggest on the page as to indicate to the audience that it is the most important story. Moreover, I have also followed the conventions of magazines by having a title of the page, which in this case is It's All About Content, the largest piece of text on the page, so that the audience knows what they're looking at. I've challenged the conventions of contents pages because I haven't included an editor's letter. This is because I filled up both the pages with enough information, and any more would most likely be skipped over. Furthermore, the magazine that I have researched has been influenced by Exposed, which didn't have an editor's letter in all of their contents pages. When creating my advert page, I wanted to follow the conventions of advert page design, as I was representing an independent clothing brand. I represented this by following the conventions of advert pages by using a colour scheme. I use flat and vibrant colours like pinks with a contrasting blue and red to represent the cartoon designs that a clothing brand creates. I have also challenged and followed the conventions of billboard design. For example, I have included a masthead in a clear and easy to read font so that people will be able to see exactly what the billboard is saying from a distance. However, I have challenged the conventions of billboards because I have made the masthead the web address as well. This is so that the billboard can relate to the minimalist design of my magazine and the rest of my media products by having less clutter on the billboard. Furthermore, I have challenged the conventions of billboards by not using bright colours to draw people's attention. In fact, I've done the complete opposite and instead used multiple shades of grey and white, but included an artistic style of typography as the largest thing on the billboard to attract people's attention. This was also done to relate to the style of the magazine, which I have also included in the bottom corner of the billboard just to make sure that the audience knew the advertisement was for a magazine. I have also followed the conventions of website design. For example, I have used a good colour scheme made up of black and white with some yellow, which was done to attract the niche audience as a minimalist design has become a stereotype, Walter Lippmann, for the type of audience. This is done so that the website is visually stimulating to the audience as well as connecting to the house style. Furthermore, I have followed the conventions of typical websites by using a drop-down menu with links to other pages. This was done so that the user of the website can easily find the information they need without becoming overwhelmed with information. Moreover, I have followed the conventions of web design by making it clear as to what is and what isn't a link. I did this by using the yellow because it is different to the colours used for the other text. This was done just to help the user navigate the website. In conclusion, I have followed most of the conventions of the media products that I have discussed. I have only challenged a few of the conventions so that the particular media product stands out from the rest, but I have still stuck to the majority of the codes and conventions so that the product can still perform the function it was designed to do in the first place.